Yo, 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 yo. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm your host, Adam Gray, the real 27 guy, and we had a huge week of auctions last week. I'm going to take just a few minutes this morning, and we're going to quickly review those. By the way, how are you? I hope you guys are doing well. I also got feedback last week from a bunch of you that you liked that I talked about more than auctions. I'm going to do that just a little bit today. And then this is just another huge week of auctions. So that's where we're going to spend the lion's share of our time. So without further ado, let's do this. Let's jump right into it. So again, last week we had some absolutely massive auctions across the hobby. Absolutely massive auctions. So let's spend a few minutes talking about each of those. Last week, we'll first look at the Fanatics Collect Weekly. At the top of the auction, this is sorted here from highest to lowest. You have this Otani Topps Chrome Employee Refractor, number 20, sold for $24,000. This Jose Manuel Moreno PSA 5. I'm not exactly the guy when it comes to vintage soccer, but in this case, this card sold for $23,000. Then we get to one that I thought was going to be really interesting. How would the Michael Jordan PSA 10 87 compared to the 86 Fleer in a PSA 9? Looks like the 87 just pulled that one out. PSA 10 sells for $1,800 more than the 86, 87 and a 9. So kind of crazy there. Keep going down here, and we'll just hit just a couple more. And again, I want to keep this very brief. LeBron Contemporary Gold, 1 of 25, $18,000. To me, that was the best card in this auction. So to whoever got that, I think, just for my take, I think that was better than all the cards that were ahead of it. And then Duncan Logoman, numbered out at 2, authenticated by CGC, $15,000. A Jordan 01 jersey auto, number 23, $15,000. And a LeBron Superfractor, new one from 2024, $13,200. Okay, so that's the weekly. Now let's jump into the stuff that's like the bigger storylines. You might have heard of a bunch of these. I want to hit these ones a little bit more because they're a little bit more significant to the overall of the hobby. They're like some of the bigger number items that sold. So at the top of the auction for the Fanatics premiere, we have 2 Pokemon cards and that I'm not going to cover, and this Jordan. This Jordan is 7.5. I said at the beginning, I thought this card would probably sell for around what we would think a BGS 9 would sell for. I think that's about the same level. Collectors in general feel that at this point, PSA is a lot harder than they used to be. Those of us who had this card and wish that we would have graded it with PSA were made even more sad by the sale because this card in a 7.5 sold for $312,000, which is right about what I would have predicted. Maybe half a bid high or half a bid lower. It's about what we would have thought. But it just presents so well on that PSA holder. The shock of the night. We're 3 minutes in, but I'm getting to the shock of the night. And I think it was a shock of the night to a lot of people. This wasn't as big of a shock to me personally. This Carlos Alcaraz is so phenomenal. This is what I would say about this. Okay, so there were 2 big Alcaraz cards. Let's talk about them in conjunction here in just a second. Then you have the Jordan PSA 10, sold for $204. The really nice Mahomes out of 5, one of his best RPAs in existence, $156. The Steph Curry 10-10, $138. The PSA 10 Shea selling for less than it did prior to him winning the championship, $132. The Jackie in a PSA 9, $132. 86 Fleer box, $132. 117 for the Credentials. Tom Brady, one of his rarest rookies, out of 25. Amazing Shohei from 2017 auto. I think a lot of people see this Tim Duncan and go, whoa, $100,000 for a Tim Duncan. Especially $100,000 for a Tim Duncan that's basically an autographed patch card. Seems crazy, right? The card has both a game used from his second to last All-Star game logo man from the jersey and an inscription of when it was worn. As far as Tim Duncan game-used autograph cards, I don't think you're going to find anything even remotely close to this. The LeBron Ultimate, numbered to 23, sold for $102,000. I'll tell you the story on this one. That autograph and that card has been perfectly preserved. It looks exactly like you want it to. The autograph's phenomenal. It was graded forever ago. It's fantastic. And we could keep going down through these. There's so many big sales to talk about. This Peyton Manning for $84,000 is obviously a big story, but so many more. But those are some of the top ones. Again, want to hit this Alcaraz in a second, so I'm going to leave that one up for a second. And now let's go look at the Golden Elite. So the Elite had just an absolutely huge auction again, and it's led off by a card that's going to look familiar. The 1980 Topps Bird Magic Irving, in a PSA 10, clears $500,000. We haven't seen one sell for $500,000 in a while. The Alcaraz here, we're going to talk about here in a second. So we're going to compare that to the other one that just sold, and we're going to have a little conversation about that. This LeBron, it was the last omission from my top 10 list, my top 10 favorite cards of the night to watch. And after seeing how much it sold for, I'm sort of like, I wish I would have left it there. But it's hard to put together a list like that of like your favorite 10 cards. This one I knew was going to be like very high on the list of how much it sold for because it's a PSA 10 of a critically important card. LeBron right now, not doing as well in terms of some of his high-end or rarer cards as maybe some of the other big-time athletes. But what LeBron is, he's always, highly collected. And what this card is, what I meant to say there, this card is a PSA 10 of one of his most key insert cards. And so as far as key LeBron cards out of Exquisite goes, there's not very many that are ahead of this, especially in a PSA 10 holder. Okay, let's talk about the Alcarazes, and then we'll come back to other stuff. So 2 records were set. A record was set and reset within 2 days. Okay, so on Thursday at the premiere, this card that says 2024 Indian Wells Champ with the racket knob off the bottom and his signature numbered 1 out of 1, created by Topps Royalty, sold for $222,000. This was the most money ever spent for a male player tennis card. We have to include the male player in there because Serena Williams does have a couple of cards, or at least one, that sold higher than this. So this was the most money ever spent for a tennis player not named Serena Williams, or again, the most money ever spent on a male tennis player card. Not to be outdone, 2 days later, this Net Pro, and people call it the Super, but the Net Pro Golden Slam is the real name for it, with an autograph that has like a fun little design on it. And if you look at the back, you'll see it's numbered out of 1 of 1. This card sold for $238,000. Now, this card is the one that its most common version was listed on the 25 and 25 survey by tennis collectors that believe that it's like a really big recognizable card. Didn't get very many votes, to be totally honest. Definitely didn't make the list. But this is the highest level of, the point is, this is the highest level of his best known card. That's why people want to think about it like a superfractor. It's a little bit like a superfractor in that it's the best version of the card that's sort of the most recognizable. And so what we had here was a really interesting head-to-head. It was what I would call a card that's more like an art card, a card that represents a real moment, winning a tournament, taking the racket from that tournament. I would guess that the image is probably from that tournament. That's what Topps has done very good at. He signs the inscription that includes the name of that tournament with the autograph numbered 1 of 1. It's everything you could want to get on a card from somebody who won a tournament in any sport. The thing that I like, what if in the NBA, most of you guys are basketball collectors, what if in the NBA, after somebody won a slam dunk contest, they took part of his shoes or part of a prop that he used in a slam dunk contest? They put that within the card, had him sign it, had an image of him dunking, and numbered it 1 of 1, and inscribed something special like Slam Dunk Champ 2025 or whatever. It is as good as it gets as far as like placing you at that moment. And can they do other cards like this? Absolutely. Could that result in people finding this less collectible? Yeah. Could it result in people thinking of things like this being more collectible? I think so, personally. I really don't know. It's sort of a new experiment, and we'll see how, as more and more of these types of things come out, as Topps wants to bring us as close to the game as they can. It'll be really interesting to see how the community reacts over time. But in this case, it reacted to the tune of $222,000, which is amazing. But again, not to be outdone, the card that is not connected in any specific moment is not about, like taking something from the game and saying, here's what it is, but is really just, the most rare version of his most iconic card. That card outdid the one that was closer to the game. So the question, and I don't think there's a right answer here, is what kind of collector are you? Would you rather have the best version of the best known card, or the thing that really gets you closer to the game than anything else? Again, No right answer, but a very interesting result. The Jordan right here, I would argue, was the buy of the night. $158,000 for a 1-of-1 2000 Ultimate Signature 1-of-1. To me, I just think that this is a phenomenal deal. This is a card that I think was harmed by being one of 5 versions of this card. It's really weird because not all of the Jordan autographs, he's got like 1-25 and 1-75. I think 1-75. I could be wrong about that. There's not like 5 different versions of each of those. But for whatever reason, Upper Deck that year decided, hey, we don't want there to just be one 1-of-1. We want to do a lot of them. So they did 5 different ones. Now, this is how I will talk about that. I'm going to take a little bit of a different slant than you might think. Sometimes people will say things like, hey, there are 3 or 4 different versions of this, and that's sort of the end of the conversation. People will say like, oh, this only did what it did because of that. And then they just move on. I feel like, as I look at this, that the community's gotten smarter in understanding that there's only 5 that there's different variations, and different variations in general are a bad thing, especially when one is not clearly the best variation. But I feel like people maybe missed the boat on this one, because although there are 5, and that's not a good thing, there's only 5. There's only like 5 different ones that are 1-of-1s. It is a 2000 autograph of Michael Jordan that is numbered 1-of-1 from the highest level product. And yes, there are 5 of them. But what if this card was numbered 2-5? What if the highest level product at this point had an autograph that was numbered to 5? Would you have viewed it differently? I actually think this card would have sold for more if this was numbered to 5. I really do. And I think it's because the community's gotten smarter and enough to say, oh, there's different versions of this. That's part of the story I don't want to have to tell. But $158,000, although it is a tremendous amount of money, it is a huge amount of money for a product that matters this much. Like, again, this was the first three-figure per pack product ever for an era of Jordan auto that is incredibly difficult to find. I love the hollow foil 1-of-1 on it. I mean, I think that was a great deal. I do. I think that was the deal of the night. Had I known it was only going to go for that, I might have even thought more seriously about it. I did think it was going to sell for more than this. So that's my take. It's still a great big number. I think the person who sold it should feel like, wow, I wanted more out of it, but like that is a lot of money. That's life-changing money. And so it's a phenomenal win though for whoever bought it. I hope that the person who bought this tucks this into their collection for a really long time. It's beautiful. And if you did buy it and you say to yourself, gosh, I'm not sure I wanted that. That was more expensive than I thought it should. Give me a call. Maybe we could work something out. I would love to own that card. It is amazing. All right, let's go back to the Goldin results here again real quick. Big Cooper flag, almost $100,000. Mickey Mantle in a 5, $120,000. The Kanji Shohei's always sell big. What is this? The Yamal number 1-of-1 Superfractor. What is the Stadium Club Chrome? $92,000. Wow, I just don't know soccer well enough to know, but I do know that he's the hottest name in soccer, and I do know what a Superfractor is. It's interesting though; it's a Stadium Club, which is certainly like a lesser product. You wonder what the biggest 1-of-1s of his would sell for right now. I know we've seen some recently. Be interesting to see what it would sell for right now. Brock Purdy does $73,000 on maybe his best card in existence. Certainly one of them. This iconic look of Steph. This is the 1-of-1. This is the platinum of that card. Wow, that's a huge piece. $63,000 on the Tom Brady. A pretty big number for that card. It must be a super high grade. Yes. They've got an interesting take on this. This is his Super Bowl ball auto. The autograph here is a little bit dark, but the grade is a 10. I personally would much rather have this card in a lower grade with a bluer autograph. But again, the community continues to look at grade more than I think they will. I always feel like the community is finally going to come around to this idea that you should look at the card. And then it turns out that the grade continues to matter a lot. Again, it's not the end all. It's not the only thing that matters. The eye appeal certainly matters. And yes, eye appeal on things like autographs and color of the card really matter. But it continues to matter a lot. The Wemby Black 1-of-1 from the second year is $61,000. Caitlin Clark, $62,000. We're 15 minutes in and we're still reviewing the old stuff. So we're going to move on. And before we hit MC, which we're going to hit here in just a second, I just want to thank those of you who have reached out about the 25 and 25. This is going to feel like a plug real quick. I apologize that it does feel like that. I do want people to watch it, but I just wanted to say how I feel like it's going so far. Just give you guys a quick update. We've released just one of the cards on the 25 and 25. We'll slow roll this like I usually do with countdowns, one a day. The 25 card was let me make it big here so you're not just looking at the background there. That doesn't matter. The number 25 card was the limited logos Michael Jordan from 2003 Exquisite. I think that card has personally, I didn't have it on my list, but I think it has a good case for being the second or third most iconic Exquisite card ever made. I did have one other Exquisite card on my personal list, and that was the 2003 Jordan LeBron dual logo man. I would argue that that's the second most iconic basketball card ever made. But people are going to fill out their ballots their own way. And I think that's the real lesson thus far of the survey is that, a lot of people will be like, oh, that card had to be higher. In fact, I had a couple people who I was interviewing who I'd say, what do you think of this card? And people would say, oh, man, I just think that card's way too low. And then they'd look at their list and they'd go, oh, man, I had it that low. Because it turns out there's a lot of really recognizable cards over the last 25 years. And that's really the take home here. The whole point of this exercise is to get people to sort of think about what cards really matter to the community overall. There's lots of cards that matter to individual collectors. There's even a lot of cards that matter within like the context of sport collectors, like basketball collectors know this card. But what cards matter across the whole hobby? And since all collectors got the chance to vote on this is really an exercise in like what matters to the whole hobby, not to just your specific niche. And we got a diverse enough voter group that I think that's what's going to happen. That's what the voting turned out as. The only other card that we've presented so far didn't quite make the list, and that is actually 3 cards from the 2012 Prism set. None of the 2012 Prism cards finished in the 25. And I think some people are surprised about that, which is, totally fine. I had 2 cards on my 25 and 25 list that were from 2012 Prism, the LeBron and the Brady. I interviewed Nick from The Wharf, and he had 3 cards from the 2012 set, all within his top 11. And he had a lot of really good cases for it. And there were a lot of other people who had several 2012 cards that were high on the list. But the reality is that, again, there are so many big cards to vote on. And so I'm excited to walk down this path with you guys of like what the community did, right? Like how they voted on it. And again, reminder, like the idea here was to take an expert side and a community side and to blend them together. So the 40 or so, 42 experts that voted, their votes will be made public at the conclusion of this. And they knew that when they voted, they voted in the way that they did. And then the community got to vote however they wanted to. And we take both of them, we even the total value. So the total the total expert vote versus plus the total community vote. These are equally valued. We put them together, and whatever happens, like whatever the list sort of comes out as, that's what the list comes out as. And I think people are going to really like to see. I was super interested. And obviously, I'm not saying out loud yet what the total list is. We're going to slow roll that. That's the whole point, to create really good content. But I think you guys are going to be really interested as these cards count down. It is a next to impossible project for those people who voted, and so I hope you guys appreciate that, and hope you guys like the content. I've spent so much time on this, and really want to thank everybody who took the survey, because almost 500 people took the survey, and the average person who took it took about 20 minutes. So you go through and do the math on that. Lots and lots of hours, like, I don't know, over 100 hours were spent by people doing this survey to create this content. And again, I hope you guys really like it. So let's go back to the items this week, and we're going to go back and we're going to start out, now that we're 19 minutes in on this episode, we're going to start out this week with the MC Sports Cards weekly auction. These are MC Mondays, are always big auctions. You get dozens of cards that are over $1,000. And I think you guys will I think you guys will really like some of the stuff that MC has up this week. So let's go ahead and let's go through them. I'm going to put, I always try to figure out what the best way is to do this. I'm going to put me over here for now. So let's start out. There's a full art Rayquaza. We're not going to talk about the VMAX Rayquaza. I do want to talk about this Ivan Rodriguez card. This one is, I just looked briefly before we started. I looked at this and my first thought was, wow. I remember Ivan Rodriguez, obviously no 93 Topps Finest refractors, the first ever refractor set. But I was like, wow, $610 for that. That seems like a big number to me. And I think the reason that I feel that way is that in basketball, refractors that are sort of average grades like this of mid-tier stars like Ivan Rodriguez, they don't usually sell this well. So what I wanted to do to start out is to hit the pop report. And so I'm going to pull that up over here on my other screen and then bring it up to you guys. We're going to enter in the cert number here. And after we enter in the cert number, we're going to find out how many of these there are to understand maybe a little bit of why this card was included in this auction to begin with. Wow, it's actually a pretty big number. Because I'm learning something right now about how collectible this set is. So this, after you enter in the number, you can see PSA shows off the card here, and it shows a PSA pop and the number that are higher. So there's 20 in a PSA 7 of this card, and there's 253 that have been graded higher. That's not exactly a super small number. What it is a very key insert or parallel for Ivan Rodriguez. I don't know how long he played. I don't know how many of his key cards are in later sets. But what I do know is that this card is qualified for the MC Mondays auction. And again, $610 is what it's at already. It makes me wonder if, we did the same thing with basketball refractors, what would be the corollary here? What would be the comparison? Well, from 93 is close. How much of this is the color on it? What do you guys think of the color? A lot of these cards turn really green. How green is this one? Again, I'm colorblind, so I'm not the guy to ask on this. I would love you to look at the card and sort of opine and say what you think. But that's, I just thought it was interesting that guy like Ivan Rodriguez be sitting at $610. I'm interested to watch that and interested to see if maybe the community is looking more at cards like that at this point. All right, we'll get out of that. Actually, let's get out of everything that we're in right now. Let's bring the PSA thing over here. Let's get out of all of this stuff that we don't need to be in anymore. Okay, and let's keep rolling. 1 of 1 Scherzer PSA 10 from 2014 Bowman Chrome. It's at $535. Acuna Jr. Bowman Chrome from 2018. This is the blue. It's at $1275. Lots of big baseball stuff to start off this one. Julio Rodriguez PSA 10 from 2019. This is the speckle out of $299. Then we get to a gold vinyl autograph, which is out of 5 of Addison. Jamar Chase, PSA 9 out of 10. Here's a big Bo Nix Obsidian. Man, a lot of baseball and football this week. And then we get to our first basketball card. Caitlin Clark. This is her 2024 with the Rookie Shield Color Blast, and it's a PSA 8. So this is another interesting one to look at the pop report, I think. So I'm going to do that real quick. Actually, I'm going to hold off on that. We're just going to click on a few that we want to highlight. Billups here is interesting. I'll tell you why Billups is interesting. He's in the PMG Champ set. He's in the Metal Universe Championship set. I don't believe he's in the red and green set. So I think this is only his second PMG. It's at $2,200. John Morant, PSA 10 Select. LeBron 07 X Fractor. Remember with this one, there is no gold in 2007. So this black X Fractor has a case for being the best one. And a card that's sitting really low right now. Check out this C-Web. Talk about that one in a second. Ooh, bet you money this Chauncey Billups is being listed by the same person who's listing the PMG. Certainly 2 of the best Chauncey Billups parallels in existence. The Metal Universe from 98, PMG, number to 50, and the gold out of 2012 Prism. It'll be really interesting to compare those two at the end today. In fact, I'll try, if I remember, I'll try to do a post on the two to highlight, how well they did against each other. But if you were to ask, somebody who's collected cards through all of Billup's career, and you were to say, exclude one of ones, what are the best parallels of this guy? There's not very many that are going to compare with these two that are up right now. Steph 1 of 1, Luka choice blue, yellow, green. Pop 1, Scottie Pippen. We saw the 2013 Black Finite sell last week, so neat to see the gold up. I think the rainbow must have sold, and that's why we're seeing several up at the same time. Tom Brady 9 Panini plates and patches. Great looking autograph, great image on that Brady. Oh, I love this Kurt Warner. I haven't seen one of these in a while. What is this though? This is a little bit different than I thought. I thought this was the Contenders rookie. We'll take a quick look at that one here in a second too. I love this Durant. Actually, I owned this exact card. Maybe this is my old copy. I owned a gold Durant from this set, and I always I've never been a big fan of manufactured patches. In fact, let's take a closer look at that one too. Really nice. Breanna Stewart is one of the most recognizable WNBA cards ever made. This is her Rittenhouse rookie card. There's not very many of them. I can't remember if it's 500 or 100. It's a really small number, and she's obviously one of the faces of the league. Every time a Steph Curry from this set, or every time a big Steph Curry Topps rookie pops up, I always remind people, this is way rarer than you might think. Look up the Pop Report on Beckett 9.5s. In fact, let's do a little bit of research on that card real quick. See if anything interesting pops out of that. Big Tim Duncan, numbered 6 out of 25 with the championship trophy in one hand and the MVP trophy in the other. A BGS 8 of Wayne Gretzky. A 1 of 1 Adley Rushman, BGS 8.5. This is the logo patch auto. Huge card. Cristiano Ronaldo Revolution. Legendary autograph. Ronaldo Topps Heritage Black out of 69. A big Jim Brown PSA. Huge card, especially for the condition that it's in, with a Unitas right next to it. Cool to see both of those being listed at the same time. A one out of 50 Michael Jordan. From 99, Athlete of the Century. Keep going here. Looks like we've got about 6 cards that I want to highlight in on, and I don't want to take too long. Big Cassell, one of the best Cassell cards in the world. The Rubies. LeBron Crystal out of 125. Oh, wow. This Shaq's a Pop 12. That's a big card. Triple autograph here. 3 greats from the 90s Knicks team. Cool to see Sprewell and Starks on the card too. That definitely up levels the card. Penny inscriptions. If you ever want a card of Penny just signing Penny, there's one for you right there. Man, so many huge cards at MC this week. What is this? 1 of 1 Trout. That's a great looking card. The Topps Chrome Platinum Super. 1 of 1. The Aaron Rodgers rookie out of Contenders at a 530 BGS 9. That's obviously a big piece. Steph Clutch Factor Jersey Auto. Almost $2,000. An autographed Gretzky. Is that on a sticker? Looks like, no, I think I'm looking at it wrong. I think that is on the card. I want to look at that autograph closer. Here's one you don't see very often. The Carmelo Credentials out of 73. Big Jackie Robinson PSA 2 out of the 1949 Leaf set. A Messi Superfractor PSA 9. Sheer perfection. It's a great looking card. You love just the simple profile of Messi there. And then the Messi rookie in a BGS 8. Card that I've talked to a lot about recently with a lot of people. I just don't think people realize how rare that card is. I still really just don't think people get it. And then we get to the end of the auction. Okay, there's so much good stuff. I know I want to read those pretty quick. So the question on this, Caitlin, is I want to know, because PSA 8's not great on this era, but let's see if when we look it up that there's maybe more information here for us to look at and think about what the angle is on why this card may or may not be an interesting card for your collection or for the future. So this card, oh, this is very interesting, guys. This is very interesting. Panini Prism, Color Blast, Caitlin Clark. There you can see the PSA images. Check this out. PSA 8, Pop 5. PSA pop higher, 2. Which means that by far and away, this one of Caitlin's most going to be one of her most recognizable. A lot of people will say like her best insert card. It's this in the Kaboom, right? There are 7 total. I'm sorry, that might not be true. Let's see how many total have been graded. Total graded is 8. One of them is a 7. 5 of them are 8s, and 2 of them are 9s, which means there are no 10s of this card in the world to date. It is the brand. It's Prism. It is the insert. It is certainly the player, right? I did an interesting post on Caitlin Clark last week that I had a lot of people message me about. It was an Caitlin Clark Prism autograph gold, and next to a Shea gold autograph. Both of them rookies, both of them Prism, both of them autographs from the gold parallel. They're basically the same card, 2 different players. They have a different design, but they're the same idea. Caitlin sold for a lot more than Shea did. I think Shea was like $38,000 and Caitlin was like $57,000 or something like that. In fact, let's just go look at it real quick. Just look at it real fast. Just to get the exact numbers. I think this is super interesting, guys. Okay, so let me go to I'm ridiculous. Sorry, guys. So if we go to my profile, we will see this is the post right here. Okay, so again, gold Caitlin, gold Shea. $56,000 for Caitlin, $34,000 for Shea. They're the same grade. They are the same thing. A Prism gold rookie card with an autograph on it. Shea doesn't have a shield on it, but everybody knows 2018 is his rookie year. Caitlin doesn't. This is identical. And so the question that I ask is like, why is this a thing? Like, why? How? Like, what do you not? Let me be clear. What do you think about this? In fact, what do you think about the price difference here? And then just listen to what people said. And there were a lot of good responses. But maybe my favorite response, I wonder if I can find. So I like what Jason said here. He said, I think that it makes sense and that people mistakenly think that card prices rise with its success in their sport. Card prices rise with popularity, period. On-court success is just a means to a player becoming more popular. So yes, Caitlin Clark is the more popular star. Caitlin Clark is by far the more popular star. I'm just going to be real. I would way rather have the Caitlin Clark card. And I don't often tell people like what I think you should do. I'm not going to tell you what you think you should do. I think you should buy what you like. I think you should collect what you like. But I would say to me, the Caitlin Clark card is so much more interesting. Shea might be the best player in the league over the next 5 to 10 years. Like, he is awesome. But Caitlin's the story. Caitlin culturally has moved us in a way that I don't know that anybody in the NBA today can. Can Wemby move us the way that Caitlin did? Can Shea? Can any of these guys? I don't know. The great comparison that a lot of people are making to Caitlin right now, and it's like the smart thing to say, is that like Caitlin is like for WNBA what Tiger was for golf. And I do think that's smart. Is she going to be that in the long term? Which of her cards will matter? And as we move away from her rookie year, are some of these cards going to stop moving as much as they do? These are really important questions, and I don't think we know the answer to those yet. But if I had to bet, I'd rather spend 56 on the Caitlin than 33 on the Shea. And I could be crazy for that. Remember, I've always been a big fan of Shea, but like he's really increased. And although he's amazingly like he's good and everybody like likes him, his level of popularity, like what does he have to do to create that? There was one more comment on here that I thought was really good. Oh, see, here's a Tiger Woods comment. Same thing. Like this, she is Tiger Woods. Let's see. Okay, so this one's, I like the Misremember. Great commenter says, she is obviously much more important to her sport than Shea is to the NBA. She might end up being a great player and even still largely forgotten. That said, using stickers for such is heinous. There was one really great comment that I don't know if we're gonna be able to find. There's just a lot of comments, guys. Sorry. So this is interesting. So Nick has this different perspective here. He says, when you look at the actual statistics for Clark, it's difficult, darn near impossible to justify or even understand these prices. I agree with another commenter. When her cards hit a market correction point, it'll make the 2008 housing market collapse look minimal. He could be right. He could be right. Are people just speculating? Or is there going to come a time where people are like, I have to have her cards? Even if they are just speculating now, that may come the moment where you just have to have her cards. All right. Sorry. I spent a long time on this, but that Caitlin Clark card that we looked at here, I don't even know where it went. It's really going to be an interesting story tonight. It's one of her better cards, guys. If you're not including autographs, especially, it's really one of her better cards. That might be one of our top 5 cards of the night. We're going to put it over there just in case. We're going to add all this random other stuff that I've got open. We'll move over this, and we'll hit this Chris Webber. Ah, gosh, I've already spent a lot of time on this, but I wanted to take that time on the Caitlin Clark. Hope you guys liked that. Okay, so this Chris Webber is interesting. It's interesting to me because it's an MC. People do not like an MC qualifier on MC Mondays. I love it. People do not love qualifiers. Why does it have a qualifier? Is it miscut? I guess, duh, Adam. Of course it's miscut. It says MC on it. It's funny, though. It says, yep, see that line right there? There's a little bit of the next card coming in on the side there. But listen, it is the Platinum Medallions. It's one of the most collected players of the era. Yes, Chris Webber is one of the most collected players in the 90s. Don't tell me that I'm wrong about that. He is. He's beloved. He has always been beloved, even into the 90s. Like, the Michigan fan base is nuts, and they've always loved this dude. And so, sitting at 227, we'll see what that one does. I would bet it finishes quite a bit higher than that, but we'll see. Could be wrong. I wanted to look at this Kurt Warner because it looks so similar to his rookie, but I think it just looks a little different. And I don't remember, is it an insert? Power Blue. Is Power Blue is it like a parallel or something? So the card's number 146. Isn't his regular rookie number 146? Listen, I would look at this one closely because Kurt Warner was just a movement, right? Changed football. Multiple Super Bowls, unbelievable dude. Like, I loved Kurt Warner. His peak was obviously short-lived, but dude, I love this guy. I think he's like one of the most interesting guys to play football. And I don't know this set perfectly. This might be like a really tough parallel. And this is like the beginning of Contenders, right? Like, not the very beginning, but almost the beginning of Contenders. Card's 26 years old. Definitely worth watching. I just want to highlight this Durant because, again, aesthetically, this is one you get in your hand and you go, ooh, that one's got something to it. The gold, the holofoil, the gold autograph on the black, out of 10. Again, from his rookie year. This is not game used or anything like that, but it is a lovely card in person. Again, used to own this card. It might even be this exact same card that I used to have in my collection. And although I've never been a manufactured patch guy, like, this one aesthetically was so good that I was like, man, I really like that. Durant's so cheap right now, and he has been for a long time. It's about cultural, about the love of a player, about how much people want to own their cards. And I think people don't have a loyalty to Durant, maybe because he didn't have loyalty to his fan bases, right? To his teams. That seems a little bit harsh, but I think a lot of people feel that way. And so you don't have people who collected Sonics or Thunder or Nets or Suns or Warriors or any of the other teams he's been on. You don't have people who are like, I've got to own my Kevin Durant cards. So, but it's a rookie of one of the greatest players of all time. And the Steph 9.5. Okay, I'm going to deviate here. I'm going a little bit long on MC, but again, I want to always provide you guys stuff where you look at it and you go, huh, that's interesting. So what I would ask in this situation, the question that I want to ask is, I look at this card, is this: how rare is this card really? Like, how does this compare, for example, to an 86 Fleer Jordan? So let's take 10 minutes and do a really deep dive on this card. Wasn't planning on this, but I think it's really interesting. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come over to my other screen, and I'm going to go to, no, you know what? That's not going to work as well as I want it to. I'm going to do it on this side. I'm going to cover up the Chris Webber. I'm going to go to the Beckett. I'm going to go to Beckett.com, and I'm going to go to the Pop Report, and I'm going to just straight up just go right in here. We're going to go basketball. We're going to go 2009, 10 tops, and we're going to go with Curry. Okay, and when we do that, what we're going to find is, if I did it right, and I did, we're going to find 2009 tops, blah, blah, blah. 2,623 have been graded. Now, we have looked before, and I think you guys liked this last time. At least I could, from what I could tell, you guys liked this last time. Last time we dove deep on a card like this, it was to compare this with like the Kobe and the LeBron. And if you remember, the Steph is just like so much rarer than those cards. The base Steph, so much rarer than the base Kobe and the base LeBron. Like so much rarer, like 10 times rare, 20 times rare. It's crazy. And that's why I think of it a little bit different than other people do. But what I want to do right here is not that. We already know that it's rare compared to those other guys. What I want to understand here is how rare this card is in its 9.5 grade. And so we can see there are 2,623 of these. There's never been a black label graded. Gosh, that would be cool. A black label of the Steph Curry rookie would be amazing. There's just 2 pristines. I didn't know that. Wow. Which means there are going to be a lot more in gems. There's 517 gems. So about 20% of the cards, a little bit less than 20% are gem mint. It's not shocking that that's low. This card was not viewed as the card when it came out. It took several years to become the card. And it has become the card in a lot of different ways. This is certainly the most, in my opinion, certainly the most recognizable Steph Curry rookie card. We've seen forgeries of it, but I digress. Let's continue the deep dive here. There are 517 gems. Now, the question is, of the 517, how many of them are, as this one is, all 9 5s? And how many of them are nicer than that? How many of them need a 9 subgraded gem? And this is where this card might be a little bit nicer or more of a big deal than you guys know. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open Excel on my other window here. Sorry, you're not going to see it for a second. I'm going to open Excel on my other window, and I'm going to take this whole page right here of 500 cards. I'm going to highlight all of it. Sorry, it's going to take a second. I know I could just press end or something like that. Cool, but... And I'm going to paste values over into my Excel. And then there's a second page too. And it's not going to be very many of them because there were, 517 or something? Yeah, 517. So we're going to take those and we're going to put those over here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 4, and again, I know you guys can't see it, but just bear with me for just a minute because I think it'll be worth the payoff here. I'm going to take this and I'm going to sort first by E. And the E column is, in fact, you know what? I will show you guys. Sorry, I'm getting better at this. So let's do this. We're going to switch. We're going to hit remove. Sorry, guys. And we're going to instead present the, oh my goodness, what am I doing? We're going to present, why can't I find this? Sorry guys, this is being super weird. Oh, I've got to take this down. How do I do that? All right, I'm officially taking too long with this. Forgive me, guys. I'm just gonna do this in a way that you're not gonna be able to see it for just a second. But I know how to use Excel way better than I know how to use this StreamYard thing. So of the 517, a bunch of them just have 9 subgrades on centering. So then the question is, how many of them have just 9 subgrades on each of the other ones too? And if we sort by F now, a bunch of those ones are going to come out. Oh, yeah. A ton of those. Whoa. Okay, what's going to fall out of this is going to be really interesting, guys. Holy smokes. I just keep scrolling down. Okay, now I got to do G. If you don't know what I'm about to tell you, this is going to sort of blow your mind, guys. I promise it's going to be worth the payoff here. Or the time here is going to be worth it. Okay, so what I've just done, I know you guys can't see it. Forgive me. I tried to make it possible. Why don't I know how to do stuff like this? Seriously, I'm ridiculous. I'm absolutely ridiculous with stuff like this. So how come I don't know how to do this? Okay, I got it figured out now. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you. Oh, shoot. It's going to be this one right here. Hope that one's right. It is. Okay, cool. Okay. So this is what we just learned, guys. So if you drop all of them into Excel, there's 517. We'll check out the end here. There's actually 4 copies that don't have subgrades, right? Those last 4 do not have subgrades. So we're going to exclude them from our count here. This is all of the BGS 9.5s of this card that have ever been graded. And what we did first is we sorted by E, which is centering, then F, which is corners, then G, which is surface, and H, which is edges. And what my goal was to pull out all the ones that with 9s. I want to know which cards have all 9.5s. And there's an easier way to do this, but I wanted to give you guys some context. Okay. So 9s on the subgrade. There are 30 something, if I remember right. There are 31. Now here is where it's crazy. Okay. Corner subgrades of 9. Look at this. I'm going to have to use the page down button here. There are, jeez, this is crazy. There are 372 copies where the corners are 9s. 372 of 517. Yeah, that's the majority of them. And then you have, I think this was edges, right? Another 100 or another 20 that have 9 edges. And then lastly, you've got just a few that are related to, what's this last one here? Surface. You've got 46 that are related to surface, which gives us a grand total of, this is nuts, guys. How many straight 9, 5, 10s are there? There are 20. This is amazing. There are 20 Steph Curry Topps rookies with all 9.5 subgrades. 20. Is that a small number? Yes, that is a crazy small number. There are only 20 Steph Curry Topps rookies with all 9.5 subgrades in existence. And one of them ends tonight at the MC Sports Cards weekly auction. 20. Now, I will add, and because it's important to give, the full story here, there are there's another 24 copies with a 10 subgrade. So where does that put this card? This is so interesting to me, guys. And this is why people will always say, I don't like cards that are like that. There's a lot of them or whatever. Like there's a lot of these cards. You can get one anytime. You hear this sort of discourse. You cannot find one of these Steph Currys in this condition at any time. In fact, one of these Steph Currys in this condition ends very infrequently. Becca has graded ever 20. What did we say? How many was it? Becca has graded ever 2,623 copies of this card. And this card, because it has 2 pristines and 24 with all sub 5 or all 9.5 and 110 subgrade, there are 26 copies of this card, which makes this copy, which means there's only 1%, 26 out of the 2,600 total copies are graded higher than this one. 26 copies of this card have been graded higher ever. Is that a big deal? It is when it's as iconic of a card as the Steph is. And remember, when this card started to get really popular, BGS was still like really highly thought of. A good percentage of these ever were graded by BGS. And again, I'm going to tell you right now, like if you go look at PSA's pop report, like this is going to match to the top of that, right? In fact, if we look, I have to look at this. Sorry. I know I'm being super long-winded on this, guys, but this is just too interesting to me. If we go to the PSA pop report and we check Basketball. What's the fastest way to do this without a cert? And we go 2009. And we type in tops. So what I want to check here is like what percentage are tens. And it's 371. It's so much higher, guys. It's 371 out of 5,400. So 371 out of 5,400 is like 15%. Sorry, that's not right. I went the wrong direction in my mind. So it's like 7%. So 7% of Steph Curry's are graded gem mint by PSA. But in basketball, we're just looking at the 9.5, like total sub of 9.5. I would say this: it's so much harder to get a gem mint Steph Curry tops rookie from BGS with straight 9.5 subgrades, like so much harder, right? There's 20 of those plus the 26 that are graded higher. That's 46 out of 20. I mean, it's 46 out of 2,600. So what is that? Like 2%? Like 2% of cards from PSA or from Beckett are true gem or higher. But for PSA, it's 7%. I mean, it's 3 times more likely to get a PSA 10 than it is a true gem or better from Beckett, which means Beckett historically has been a lot harder on this card. And yet, if you look at what I suspect, if you look at what this card sells for compared to a PSA 10, it's not going to be close. It's probably still going to be the PSA 10. Based on the numbers I just looked at, there is no way conceivably I could take a PSA 10 over this card. There's no way. This is so much harder to get than a PSA 10 is on this card, at least over the course of the last 15 years. It might not be the case today. It may be almost impossible to get a PSA 10 on this card today. I don't know. And I know, again, that I just talked about that card forever, but I hope you guys find that interesting because I find that interesting. Like, that is amazing. And I know you can't even see the card right now, and I'm still showing off the Excel. But, like, this is, to me, this is just, it's amazing, guys. It's like, it is like truly like a huge deal that this Steph Curry card is that much. Like, that is an incredible find. And so I hope you guys liked the research there. We will continue and move a little bit faster than I've been moving. I promise we have to. Otherwise, we're really going to be in trouble. We're going to take too much time. So, but again, that I'm telling you guys, that's one of the stories of the week. It really is. That's one of the stories of the week. Watch that auction. 20 true gems ever on that card. Okay. And then the Gretzky, I wanted to see because it looked like it is a sticker auto. I was right. So this Gretzky is the Topps rookie. The card hasn't been graded, though the card looks pretty good. The autograph is on a sticker. Kind of a unique piece. It's probably from a card. They pulled off the sticker. It's very, very cool. Okay, that is going to be it for MC Mondays. We got 2 cards out of it that might go on our top 5 list of the week. Now I want to look at hoodies. Hoodies has a bunch of huge cards ending right now. It's not their premier auction, but hoodies. Oh, it is the hoodies high end. What? Am I crazy? I don't think it is the hoodies high end. I wonder if one of these is like a relist. Like, we just had the hoodies high end, I think 2 weeks ago. But see, this Steph says it's a hoodies high end. See, hoodies high end item. Hoodies high end is like a monthly auction that they do. And so that's why I was a little bit confused there for a second. I think that I don't know why this one is up at a different time because it's ending this week. They're not doing their high end auction right now, I don't believe. These are all part of their normal auctions, but they do once a month, like a big auction. And that's what it says here on this stuff. I know I'm over some of these cards. I think that's probably the best place to put me. Sorry, guys. So Jordan Fleer in an 8's obviously a big deal. This Steph is interesting. We're seeing a lot of the really tough to find stuff from Steph is really sort of exploded. And I think it's because people are still trying to figure out like what his biggest cards are. And some people are like, I think this is his biggest card. I'm going to go after it. Or this is one of his biggest cards. And so you're seeing a lot of cards like this. This is a game-used mem card of Steph, and I think it's a 1/1. So we'll look closer at that one here. But that one ends tonight. This Shohei game-used patch auto. Gosh, that's pretty. That's a great-looking card. What is this? WWE Raw logo gems CM Punk with the diamonds. That's cool. The Kobe to me is going to be one of the stories, though. I just absolutely love this piece. I don't think this one is a 1/1. We'll look closer at it, but this is the year 2015 Flawless where they did a lot of really awesome holofoil. Oh my goodness. Look at this Jordan. We have to look at that. That's amazing. This Stockton is incredible too. Gosh, they've got so much cool stuff up this week. And then, oh man, I love this Jim Brown. 97 Legends. Look at that window. It looks more like a Fleer card. That does not look like an Upper Deck card to me. That's as they were still trying to figure out what their, how they were going to make their cards look. Zach Wheeler game-used ball auto. And then there was one more card down here that I wanted to show you guys that I saw before I sorted from highest. And we're almost there. Where is it? Where'd it go? Kelsey Grammer, Cheers autograph. Isn't that awesome? What is this logo thing right here? I want to look at that. Okay, we're going to look at each of these cards real quick. Steph with the laundry tag. Where's the serial number? It's got to be here somewhere. It's hiding from me. Says it's a 1/1. It's going to be here on the front somewhere. I don't think it's on the back. Flawless is never on the back, is it? There's a 1/1. Oh, is it right there? Yep. Right in Steph's midline right here. 1/1, and it's in regular foil. You will definitely see that when it's in person. The thing you got to love about the Flawless, man, they always crush it with a hollow foil. That's beautiful. All right. This Kobe, 4/8. Significant for the Black Mamba. This is the Sapphire. The patch is phenomenal, and it's beautiful. Okay, I'm in love with this Jordan. You have to wonder what in the world happened. It does have a staple straight through it. Man, this card's cool. Staple straight through the card, worn more than just about any Jordan rookie I've ever seen. My Jordan's bad. It's nowhere near this bad. Mine's a 1.5, and it's got tons of creases in it. But a staple, and it looks like it's been through the wash. Like, sort of amazing it doesn't have a bunch of creases on it. I guess it does. It's got some creases. It's creasing too. But if you want the worst Jordan rookie you will ever find, you're probably looking at it. And it's still going to be $2,000. So I think that's what it'll go for. Maybe it'll go for more because of how bad it is. It's a great story. You'd love to just grab that card, put that out like that. That's the sort of card. You guys know how Andy from Indie Card Exchange laminated he laminated his bar at his shop with Michael Jordan cards. That would be the one to put in that. It's a real Jordan rookie. You put that thing on your counter and be like, that's the Michael Jordan rookie card. It's awesome. It's awesome. That will be one of my 5 favorite cards of the week. I'm telling you right now. Huge Stockton, one of his best autograph patches you will ever see. And I needed to see on this Kelsey Grammer. Is that what I think it is? Oh my goodness. Kelsey Grammer, Dr. Fraser Crane wardrobe piece. Rittenhouse did some cool stuff. And that is the definition of cool. 2025. So this is pretty new. 2024 is what it says on the back, but they've got 2025. So maybe the actual year does not line up with the copyright. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Hope you guys like that. Let's hit Alt real quick. Alt has a huge Kobe Flawless patch auto. Huge card in a PSA 10. Already at $45,000 from 2015. That is a playing days card. A Victor Wembanyama Nebula. This is the Optic Nebula. Absolutely huge card. PSA 9. Flagship rated rookie parallel. That's right. I like that description. That's a really good description. LeBron Gold Kaboom from 2024. Great image of LeBron here. One of the better ones on the Kaboom. Steph autograph tag. 1/1 game used tag. Lots of holofoil. Beautiful card. I love this Wilt. I've always loved this Wilt. He only has 2 autographs that were impact, that were like, before the parallels. This is the base version. 10-10, really blue autograph. The old Beckett's indicate how many total autographs Wilt signed between the two. If I remember right, it was like, 675 or 725 or something like that. I should know. I have the legends of this card, but it's not a big number. It's certainly less than 1,000. Big Cade Cunningham, representing all 3 Detroit Pistons championships. It's crazy they've won 3. 89, 90, and what's the other year? 2004, I think. 3 of the great teams in NBA history. Lots of good stuff up at all, guys. Lots of good stuff up at all. All right, now let's move to the Fanatics Collect Weekly, and then we'll hit the Goldin Weekly, and then we will hit, after both of those, we will hit Card Hobby. So the Fanatics Weekly this week is bonkers. It is absolutely nuts. Let's move me back over to here. We're going to start by looking. There's 2 different views on this to look at that I think are really interesting. One is the featured view, and we have to do that because there are a couple of huge pieces that are probably not at the top of the bids, because we're going to sort by highest here in a second, but you guys have to see these. So the Chuck PMG Champ, the Reggie PMG Champ, 2 of the most collected guys of the whole era. Yes, they were great players. They're even more collected, especially Reggie. Do not be shocked when the Reggie outsells the Barkley, because I think that probably will happen. They might be close. We'll see. Shohei, not one of the first 10. The first 10 are in kanji. This one's not. And then this John Elway. We've seen this card sell a couple of times, and it's shocking to me that it sold a couple of times. This is his best version of his first one-of-ones. 1997, you get only a few one-of-ones. And let's actually try to solve that real quick. You guys might find that interesting. Jokic out of 99, the NT autograph. Huge card, PSA 8. The Randy Moss, 50 out of 50 rubies from 2000. Not his rookie year, but still very cool. Brett Favre, 1-of-1 from 98. Very interesting piece. Oh, wow. Oh, and I thought that was the end of the most important cards at the top of this auction. I thought that this was the legacy. Still a huge piece. I love that Kobe. I had one of those in my collection for a while, but that's not the legacy. Oh, but there are some other big cards. Look at this Jordan Gold. We're going to talk about that one for a second too. Maybe do a little bit of research on that one that you guys might find interesting. Love this Durant from the exclusives box. Okay. Now that we've done that view, let's come back. I just realized I usually do this in a chronological order. Goldin ends ahead of Fanatics. I should have done Goldin first. We've already kind of gone down the path here, but remember that Goldin ends on Thursday and Fanatics ends on Sunday. So should have done this in a slightly different order. Hopefully you guys will forgive me for that. Okay, so if I sort this by highest, let's see what we get now. Remember, since we're looking at this Monday, this just is what it is. I recently sold my copy of this card in the same grade. I actually thought maybe this one was higher, or this one was the same copy. It's not. It's BGS 9.5, really premium subs. It's at $17,000. And the market's generally up since when I sold mine. So I'm very interested to see how this one does. PSA 10 on the Scoring Kings is a huge deal. It's one of the most recognizable Jordan inserts ever, maybe the most recognizable Jordan insert. And from 93, there's very few cards, if any, that are better than this one. But the fact that this one's a PSA 10 is the big story here. Michael Jordan 2003 SP Game Used. This is still when they were using Wizard stuff, and it was right at the very end of that. The Michael Jordan jersey, again, it says patch. Fanatics has a policy that they include the word patch with anything that's a jersey card. I disagree with it, but I understand why they do it, because some people in the hobby today use the word patch for anything that's a jersey. This is not a patch card. This is a jersey card, to those of us who understand the old language, but still it is the jersey card from 98. the jersey card, the first Bulls jersey card. And although there's 6 different variations of this card with an autograph, there's only one that's just a jersey. PSA 8's a nice strong grade. PSA 6 is a nice strong grade for the Messi rookie. It's a huge card. PSA 10 is a good strong grade for the Mahomes Prism rookie, which is a silver. Wow, this LeBron is definitely going to be a story this week. This is the Kaboom in an 8. We've seen a few high-grade copies of that card sell for a ton recently. So we'll dive in a little bit on that one. And we've got enough to really dive in on. I don't think I'm going to look at more than one more page of Fanatics' weekly this week. Ooh, I love this, Steph. I mean, I love it a lot. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're going to look at that one. And, Timmy Playmakers Theater. That's a big card. 21 of 100. That's his jersey number. Ooh, big Sean Bradley green. That is huge. Sean was a big guy, and that's a big card. Definitely his best card in existence. Okay. So Barkley, PSA 7, Houston background here, Texas background. You know, you kind of wish that Barkley's biggest cards would have been when he was with the Suns or the Sixers. But on the other hand, I'm just glad he made it. You know, he almost didn't have cards from the biggest sets ever because he just wasn't in Houston for that long. This is the number 14 of 50 copy. Inserted into a pack. I say inserted in a pack because the last 5, 10% of the run was not inserted into a pack. But in another funny way, where the greens were the first 10%, in the championship set, the last 10% were via redemption, via the Ultimate Gem Masters or Ultimate Masters redemption. They would allow the person who pulled the redemption to get the whole set. Unbelievable. One of Chuck's best parallels in existence right there, without question. Reggie, oh my goodness, I love that card. What are these columns in the back? I do not know Indiana well enough to know, but I know that it's synonymous with Indiana. If you know, please put it in the comments what they are, because I would love to know what those are. I would love to know that. I had a Garnett from this set that was like this one, that was largely the blue background, and I will just tell you, in person, that card was amazing. I have missed it since I got rid of it, but it was part of what I used to help me to get my Kobe Logo Mania card. So do I regret getting rid of the Garnett? Not even a little bit, but I have missed it. It is a lovely card. And a 7 grade on this is the same as my Garnett was. And I will tell you, as I looked around the card, I was like, so this card's pretty much perfect. It looks mint to me. Why is this a 7? But the back with these tough edges, I mean, you can see a little bit of wear, That is why you get a 7 grade. But you can tell you in person, the card just looks, if it's anything like the Garnett, it looks exactly like you want it to. This Elway is so interesting. And the research that I want to do on this is, I think, also really interesting. So you'll hear me say things a lot like, that's the guy's first 1 of 1 ever. And there's a way to figure that out, but it takes some time. There's probably a better way to look it out. Look at it, but I'm going to show you guys right now. So if you come to Beckett and you go to like the main page. Oh gosh, I got to log in to do this. I can't log in. I've got to go. If I log in, you guys will see my information. That sucks. Sorry, guys. I can't do that. So I should have logged in before. I usually do, but I forgot in this case. Instead, what I'll just talk about is this. I believe 97 for football is the first 1 of 1 year. I can't remember if Ultra also has a 1 of 1 this year. I think they might. It's either this year or the next year, but I can't remember because there's sort of like a staggered thing with football and basketball. I'm not sure which side it lands on. What I do know is that this design right here is the same as the 96 Showcase basketball legacies. It has this sort of like this speckled or white or like sparkle look to it. It's got the image of the guy in the background and this great image of the guy in front. And then there was this sort of whole thing here where like there was like style and grace and all of these words that they include. We don't really need to know about all those because there's not like a million different variations. This one says power or showcase. All you need to know is it's like I remember when it was coming out, it was like, how many different variations are there? What is this? What is that? All you need to know is this. In 97, For basketball, there were 3 rows. And I think it's the same for football. There's row 0, row 1, and row 2. And I'm 99% sure it's the same for football. And for basketball, they made the row 0s, and like they were easily the toughest. And the row 1s were not as tough. And the row 2s were sort of viewed as more of like the base version. And then all of them had a legacy version. And in basketball, the legacies were numbered to 150, but there were 151 of each card because, ironically, Flair made a 0 out of 150 copy. 0, 0, 0 out of 150. So with that, there were 151 total of each card produced. I'll bet that's all the same with football. I don't know about the 0, 0, 0 thing, but I'll bet it's the same. It might be out of 100. Actually, I wouldn't be so shocked if it was different because oftentimes they would number things differently. That doesn't mean that the design was different, but they numbered things differently. Well, the biggest difference, though, is that in 97, basketball does not have 1-of-1s. Excuse me, 96, 97, basketball does not have 1-of-1s. But as we can see here, despite the fact that this design is identical to the 96, 97 showcase row 0s, same type of design, there is a 1-of-1. And this is the John Elway of that card with the purple, the only 1-of-1 masterpiece on the back. The back is like this really nice, soft material. The front's like glossy. The back's like not matte because it's smooth, but it feels like matte. Like it's like a soft matte back. I don't know if matte's the right word, but I don't know if there's a better word. It's just a really cool, like it feels nice. It feels premium. I remember when it came out, I felt like it was pretty easily the nicest card that I'd ever held in hand. These base cards. And for Elway, it's like, this card's going to sell for a lot. Because it's a 1-of-1, because it's his first 1-of-1, because it's such a nice card. The thing that is sort of confusing to me is it's sold a couple of times previously. And man, I'll tell you what, if I was a John Elway collector, I'd get this card and I'd put it away forever. I just don't know how much better you can do than that. Like, it's like the John Elway card. So if you are a huge John Elway card, or John Elway card, if you are a huge John Elway fan and you want one card that's going to like differentiate your collection, man, I would look at this one. The only thing that I'll add, and you've got to do some research on this, some very easy research, is find out if there is a second copy of this card. What do I mean by that? Well, many of the early 1-of-1s, if you're not already aware, many of them had a secondary sheet. Some of those secondary sheets were cut post-bankruptcy. Some of them, I don't know exactly why. I don't even know the whole story, like why there's a second copy. I believe it's because of the bankruptcy, but I don't know it. What I do know is that the grading companies haven't been able to tell the difference on some of those. And so for cards like the Tom Brady Flair Showcase Masterpiece rookie card, there's 2 copies. Our friend Pock had one of his signed. And so now you can differentiate the 2 because one of the 2 is signed and the other one is just still encased. But for Elway, like this is one of his best cards personally that I've ever seen. The question is whether there is actually more than one of them. And to figure that out, I would look at all of the grading companies. You can't know perfectly because, like somebody can bust a card out of a case and reholder it. So what if there are 2 at PSA? Maybe there's just the 1 card. I don't know. But if you see lots of examples where there are 2 graded by BGS and PSA, then maybe there's a second copy. Whether there is or there isn't, you're going to have a hard time convincing me that there's a better card of John Elway from this era. I would rather have this than the green that came out a year later. I would. I think it's nicer looking by a lot. I don't think it'll sell for as much, especially because it's sold a couple of times. I love it when key pieces of players sell multiple times in over the course of a couple of years. And unless I'm mistaken, this one has moved a couple of times. A friend of mine, I believe, bought it. I was surprised when he sold it. And now to see it up for sale again, maybe 6 months to a year later, man, I just hope it ends up in a real collector's hands. Sorry, I took so long on that, but I love that card. So this Jordan to me is so interesting. And we're going to talk about why. So if you go to PSA Pop on this, I did the bad thing. I should have kept it off screen for a second, but 1103. Sorry, guys. I'm not good at remembering these things. 0062. We will see the card. We will see the grade. I typed in the wrong thing. 1103. That's embarrassing. 11003. Can I get it this time? Sorry, guys. There we go. Gold medallion. Now, when I saw this, I sort of took a second look because this is actually a really tough card. This is really tough for a couple of reasons. So I knew it was low pop. It also said this, to be clear. It said it on the auction, but I knew this was a really low pop before even looking at it. It's really interesting. There's 11 nines. There's 5 10s. PSA has an estimated is a $1,900 card. If you come into the pop report, I don't think, I would guess there's probably 100 of these that have ever been graded. Maybe more. I don't know. We'll find out. Jordan. What in the world? Why is the gold not next to Jordan? Usually they have the names right next to each other. Let's try this. If we type in Jordan, do they have them staggered or something? They do. So they usually put the numbers right next to each other. Maybe it's because it has a G. So it's pretty close on the 100. There's 133 of these ever that have been graded. Look, only 11 or 9s, 5 or 10s. I know I'm a total weirdo, guys, but I remember on this set that the series 1 golds are like 1 in 12 packs. 1 in 12 or 1 in 24. And the series 2 are like 1 per pack. And the way that we can figure that out real quick is to do this. 96 Ultra Basketball Gold Parallel. And when you do that, you're going to get, I like Beckett's description of these things the most. So this 296 semi-parallel was randomly inserted into boxes at a rate of 1 in 12 for series 1 and 1 per pack in series 2. That is exactly what I said. Cool. And so it's like, this is a big set, right? 296 cards, half of it roughly. We could just look back and see. So 296, my guess is that the first half is series 1. Yes. 1 in 100 or 148. So do the math, right? Do the math. 148 cards in the set times 12 packs, 1 in 12 packs. It's like 1 in, what is that? Like 1 in 1,600 or something packs to pull this Jordan card. But then finding it in this condition is really exceptionally difficult. This card being graded in this condition at this point is next to impossible. How can you tell it's a gold? Actually, it is kind of hard to tell from this view. That looks like more like a base card. But on the back, you see G12. And if you have it in person, you can see that the foil is a little bit more gold than usual. Same thing on the Kobe. It's a tough thing to tell, but it is. It's a gold Jordan. It's a tough card to find. It's even tougher in a PSA 9. I'm interested in watching this one. People love a PSA 10, and I think that's great, but I think you've got to look at real rarity far more than what a card is graded. I just don't even care about the grade. But I do care about the rarity, and this card in this grade is so rare. Obviously, you'd love it to be a 10, which would be even rarer and even better condition. But, I mean, that's probably like well into the 5 figures, I would guess. I'm really interested to see what this one sells for. So it'll be an interesting one to watch tonight. Sort of tempted to put this one in my top 5. I just really like that card a lot. And so also the same on the Elway. We're going to think about that one. And then if we've taken enough time now, I need to keep moving, unfortunately. But watch this LeBron. We've seen so much positive movement for the 2013 Kabooms. It's the first year of Kaboom. It's one of the very few Heat era LeBron cards that people really view as iconic. And to a lot of people, he's like the guy from that first set. So definitely watch that one. Oh, and the Steph. I saw this card sell recently. And I thought to myself, man, is that a Steph I want to go after? And I'll tell you why I like it, why I thought it might be an interesting one to go after. It's always a weird thing for me when I come up against cards that I'm talking about here, and I think, oh, I might want that one. But that's sort of the position that I'm in on this one. I love silhouettes. Okay, now this patch is not like, oh my goodness, greatest Warriors patch, and the Warriors have a lot of great patches. It's a very simple patch. You can see the word prime here. Remember, there's a regular version and then a prime, like a nicer patch version. This is the patch version. We saw Kobe from this set sell for really, really big money a couple of months ago. The Kobe was numbered out of 10, though, and it had some additional story to it. We knew what all of the cards looked like because Panini used the pieces in an advertisement. This one, we don't know what all of the pieces look like, but I've sort of buried the lead here in why I'm interested in it. Is it's the first year of silhouettes. So for Steph Curry, this is his first year silhouette patch auto. And I think that matters. Like, he's got a lot of patch autos. He doesn't have a lot to have the significance that this one has. Silhouettes are sort of trademarked by the image of the player extending over the patch window. I just really like the card. I think it's going to probably sell for a lot. But I do really like the card a lot. And I'm going to put it up here in my top 5 this week, or to potentially a top 5 card this week. Okay, and that's going to be it for Fanatics Collect this week. And the Bradley, amazing green. I think this one's his highest graded. I think Bradley actually has maybe the most PMG greens that have been graded, or like a pretty high number. I could be wrong, but I think if I remember right, that's true. But this is the highest graded. So that is an interesting one. You have to wonder if that ends up in Nat's collection, if he cares whether it's the highest graded pop one. Sorry for the sound in the background. That's what you get for my home, what I get for my home studio. And then we've got the Goldin Weekly that we got to look at, guys. We've got to look at the Goldin Weekly. And I feel bad. I'm not going to give that probably the due that I need to. It's just I've taken longer than I wanted to. Oh, there's going to be a couple cards here that we have to talk about, though, for sure. Really a strong Goldin Weekly at the top, guys. Which of these two would you rather have? The Kobe 2012 Flawless Spokesman patch auto or the Jordan 06 autograph patches out of Exquisite? Really an interesting comparison here. Obviously, some people will just distill it. Most people, I think, just to Kobe versus Jordan. The patches are both awesome. The Jordan patch is a painted patch, but it's lovely. The Kobe patch is great here, too. I will tell you the story on both of them. Kobe in 2012 was one of 5 players that Flawless used in the Spokesman set. It's a 10-card set. Each player had 2 cards. And then those cards all had variations. These cards were not in the main box part of the Flawless box. They were in the one touch that's sealed. This one's been graded a 9.5 with a really nice autograph, too. It's one of the nicest patches you're going to find on this Kobe card. Personally, I like these cards still in the original holders. I wouldn't have ever gotten it graded. But it is graded, and Beckett's graded at a 9.5. I love the premium foil around the window. I do not think the green or emerald, as this is, looks as good as the gold. Neither of them look as good as the 1 of 1. The 1 of 1 is really spectacular. I owned a 1 of one of the 2 Blake Griffins for a long time, and I love the set. I love the set especially because you get a couple of rookies in it that both have game-used pieces, and that year those were the only game-used patch autos of rookie cards, I think, at all. And it was Kyrie and 80 that were in the set. The other 3 are Kobe, Durant, and Blake Griffin. This was the first ultra high-end product ever. It was 4 figures a pack that came in a briefcase. And there's only 5 of this Kobe. There's 5 of this version and 5 of the other version. And then next to it, you've got the Jordan, which is the only year of the autograph patches, numbered out of 100 from Exquisite, where you get the full image of the player. Again, the patch on the Jordan is really spectacular. It's painted, but it's spectacular. You love all three colors. You love the evenness of it. You're not going to get a much better patch than that. The autograph looks really good. It's numbered out of 100 though. So even if you combine the two Kobe's, it's still 10 times rarer than the Jordan. I would much rather have the Kobe here. I think that's a no-brainer. But I love Kobe. I do. And I would say Kobe's like my main guy who I look at him, the cards in my collection, the cards that are really at the top that are cards I just look at. I'm like, I would never move those cards. Just because I don't think Kobe was as great of a player as Jordan, although Kobe was probably a better shot maker at the highest level. Like he did things that I trust Kobe's crazy. We don't need to get into that. I love Kobe. And I really like this piece. I would take the Kobe over the Jordan here. The Yamal numbered out of 10 and signed Topps Chrome. Very cool. This Shea piece is huge though. It's second year. And obviously you wish that he was in a Thunder uniform. Does it say Thunder? I thought he got to the Thunder his second year. Maybe it was his third year. The Shea Tiger Stripe rookie card. We'll check that first one out in a second. The Immaculate Tag Auto Shea. Boy, big week for some huge Shea cards. Remember, we're sorted from highest to lowest, so that's why the order is what it is. I've always loved this LeBron Finite autograph. I think he just signed a great autograph on those. A very rare black border 2002 Jordan refractor from Chrome. This is the rarest version of his refractor in 2002, his final year of refractors. Other than the black from the year before it, the gold from 2002 Finest, and the gold embossed refractor from 97. This is the rarest Michael Jordan refractor card in the world. So I think that's fourth. I think it's the fourth most rarest Jordan refractor ever made. Kind of cool. I mean, really cool. Logo man of Trae Young. Really nice autograph of Kobe on a flawless card. Chet NTRPA. Remember this is a game-used Wemby. That's the story there. Flawless Luol Deng. That's neat. Beautiful Bill Russell card. I don't know what this 9 represents, but I can tell you that is a beautiful card. We'll do one more page here on Goldin. And then we'll check out the cards that we've sort of highlighted to check out here at the end. There wasn't really anything on that page that really stood out to me. Let's do a third page just in case there's anything that really I want to look at here. White Prism LeBron at a 175. Another big Shea. A speaker cut autograph. A Volpe Jeter duel. It's very cool. What is this tag? Rookie Prime Signatures booklet. Oh, it's a booklet. That's why it's huge. Huh. That's very cool. And then the card that we wanted to look at. So I wanted to see Clippers. Thunder. You guys see that? That's what I wanted to see. I suspected that might be the case. So this is an interesting card. He's in a Clipper uniform. All right, he's in a Clipper uniform, but he had just been traded to the Thunder. Man, it's in a lot of ways it's too bad that Shea has his first Prism card in a Clipper uniform. It's too bad because he's arguably the best Thunder player ever. He just brought them to a championship. He has a chance to be like one of the players of this era. And his first Prism card is him as a member of the Thunder is in a Clipper uniform. Like it says Thunder down here, guys. If you look at the back of the card, you're going to see a Thunder logo. That's really, really cool. You just wish he wasn't in a Clipper uniform. But for me, this is like a baby out with a bathwater card. I mean, although it's unfortunate that he's in a Clipper uniform, like that is the first time that you get Shea in a Thunder uniform, and it is the key Nebula 1 of 1. I mean, that is a huge card. Gosh, that's a huge card. I'm really interested to watch that one this week. He's not going to be remembered as a member of the Clippers, guys. So you want the first big cards of him as a member of the Thunder. At least I would if I was collecting him, and this sort of is that. It sort of doesn't get any better than that. Or do you just wait till the next year when it's like, oh, say he's also in a Thunder uniform? It sort of gives you a couple options. I don't know. I'm going to put it over here as maybe a top 5 this week, though. And then lastly, let's hit Card Hobby. So shop by category, all cards, sort by highest. Oops, sorry, price. And I also want to look at auctions. And when we look at all auctions, it feels like every time we do this lately, we've gotten one of these Kobe signature spotlights at the top. It's like every week. Amen Thompson National Treasures. I don't know why the image isn't popping up there. Let's refresh. Hopefully that doesn't break all the links we just set up, or all the, it did. Shoot. Let's do highest first. Come on, Card Hobby. Let's go. Again, I want the auctions. So an Amen Thompson and TRPA, a couple of them right at the top. I don't know who this is, soccer card. It's 14 grand, 13 grand. Kobe signature spotlights. I just love the card. I love it. Big LeBron rookie autograph. What is this? LeBron 2024 Chrome. That's so cool. That autograph is so cool. Obviously, you'd love to see Lakers on the jersey, but it's not NBA licensed. 2015. 2015 Immaculate. This is the acetate Kobe, number 24. That's a huge card. Huge piece. Big Halliburton, or big Amen Thompson, excuse me. Flawless. RPA. I've always loved this Steph right here. This ends today. It's Steph and KD, both of them on the same card. They didn't have too many of these cards where they both signed. They really didn't. I think this is the only one that really comes to mind. I know there's some higher end stuff, but that's really the one card that really comes to my mind. Obviously, every week at Card Hobby, you guys, especially if you love the autograph patches, you have to look and have to say, okay, what are the biggest cards? Huge LeBron here, black gold Deca out of 5. That ends tonight too. A couple of big cards ending on Card Hobby tonight. I always love this Rodman. That's one of his best looking autographs ever. Cade Flashbacks autograph out of Flawless. Ooh, I love this Clay. Second year Immaculate tag, laundry tag. And I just love how well those are designed. Big Yao right here. This is his best regular rookie out of 250. Ends in a day, or in just under 2 days. As always, there's some big stuff ending at Card Hobby this week. Okay, but we ended up with quite the number of cards that might make the top 5 this week. Because there's none of the like super premium auctions this week, there's not like any 6-figure crazy stuff in here like there was last week. This week, it's more about cards that's like, that really stands out to me as unique and different. And in this group, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. We have to cut out a couple, unfortunately. Which 2 do we cut? Oh, gosh, this is going to be really tough for me because I really like all of these. So I'm going to cut out the Elway because I've highlighted it before, and because it's such a key card. It's maybe in a lot of ways it's like my favorite, but I don't want to highlight the same thing more than once if I can afford it. Oh, this is tough. I'm going to go with this Jordan. I want to give the WNBA some representation. I'm going to take the Jordan out. I'm going to put that at 6th, which gives us these 5 cards. The Steph, again, pop 20 that are true 9.5s. The Jordan SGC 1, probably the worst Jordan that you'll ever see. The Steph preferred Silo out of 25 that I might be bidding on. The Shea Nebula. And the Caitlin. Okay, so I'm going to put Caitlin 5th. And I mean, I'm a basketball guy, guys. I love basketball, like NBA basketball. I love this Caitlin Clark card, but I'm going to put it 5th. 4th, I'm going to go with the SGA because he's in a Clipper uniform. If he was in a If he was in an OKC uniform, this would be my favorite card of the week. But remember, it is a Thunder card. 3, we're going to go with the Steph. There are 25 of them. It's not like the Kobe that there's 10, but still 25 is very rare. I love that it's the first of its kind. I absolutely might be bidding on it, but with how crazy Steph's going, I bet this card could probably sells for too much. I love that it's first year of like maybe the best patch auto of the Panini era. Doesn't have any foil, doesn't have any hollow foil, but aesthetically, it's everything besides that. Which leaves us with 2 of the most iconic basketball cards ever made at 1 and 2. And I'm going to put the Jordan number 1 because for however rare this Steph rookie is, I have never seen a Jordan rookie look that bad in my life. And I think that's a story. I do probably do some content on this one this week. If I've got time, it ends in a day. I might not make it, but I'll try. All right, guys, that is it. That is the show for this week. 1 hour and 35, finished a little bit earlier than usual, which is good because I need to. If you haven't checked out the 25 and 25, please do. If you haven't followed, please follow. If you haven't hit like, please do. Every one of these episodes is at least a couple hours. It certainly takes a lot. I see how many of you are watching. I see how long you watch for. Please like, please share, please do all that stuff. I like doing this show, and I'm glad that you guys are watching it and enjoying it. Please like and subscribe and do all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, like I said, check out my Instagram for the 25 and 25 this week, and would love to hear you guys' thoughts on it. If you think a card ended up way too low because the community got it wrong, say so. If you think they voted it way too high, say so. Just say what you think about those things. Watch for full-length shows on YouTube and the shorts on Instagram. And until next time, happy collecting.